YOLO Composing Gloves here, and today I have with me
Jordan.
Jordan is a newbie. He has no idea about how to use FL Studio at all. But he does play.
I played saxophone.
Yeah, you're a saxophone player. So he
Yes.
has some musical knowledge. He's in jazz bands of all kinds. You get paid to play, right?
I do.
Yeah, he gets paid to play. It's good stuff. So he doesn't know anything about this. And I figured if I'm going to do a beginner series, I should do it with someone who doesn't know anything about this. That way we can just work through. You can ask me questions. He's sitting here right next to me, so we can just work on things together. So it's made for people who are literally starting with zero knowledge.
I am that person. I know absolutely nothing about any of this.
He knows maybe a little,
Maybe a little.
but yeah.
Nothing significant.
we're going to push through this thing. It's going to be awesome. So today I just wanted to cover the 6 main aspects of working with music. I guess not technically 6, just the main pieces. And so there's a bunch of main windows you're confronted with when you open FL, and your screen's a tad bit different, but it's the same pieces. So on the left you have a browser here. And if any of these windows that you're seeing here are missing, they will be available to you through these tabs here at the top. So you click these and they'll pop up and show you the windows that are missing. So your browser for loading your sounds. You also have this thing right here. It's called the channel rack, as you can see.
The channel rack. Got it.
Yeah, that's your channel rack. And in here you load channels. Now channels can be a sample. They could be a sound. They can be an instrument like a VST. If you click this little plus icon here at the bottom, you get a list of all the VSTs that you can load. So a VST stands for Virtual Studio Technology, and they're basically, in this case, these are synthesizers and generating plugins. So these plugins in this list will generate things. In your case, we're just going to sort of stick to things that generate sound. There are other options, like you have MIDI generators, but we're going to worry about stuff like MIDI a little bit later. But this is how you're going to load your sound. So if you have a synth you're dying to open, you can come in here. And do you have, let's stick with stuff that's FL. Okay. So my list has extra things in it. But let's go to, like, you should have Harmor on there.
Harmor?
You see your Harmor?
Is this alpha? Yeah, I have Harmless.
No, it's not alpha. Okay, we'll go with Harmless. So go ahead, open up Harmless. And you see that it has added a channel right here?
Yes.
I want to point at your screen, but I got to show people.
Wait, it disappeared. Okay.
Okay. So if it's disappeared,
wait, I got it.
Well, you don't need to open another.
Wait, so now I have two open now?
Yeah, now you have 2 open. So now you have 2 channels. You see your double channel right there?
No.
There's 2 of them?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's 2. If you click on it, it'll open and close it. You see that?
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll have, this is actually, some people complain about this, but I actually like how the windows work here. Mm-hmm. So if you hit Shift Tab, you're able to scroll through all your open windows. See that?
Oh, yeah.
So you opened up a second one, but if you want to get back to the one you're working on, because that's got the sound you want, you're going to need to hit Shift Tab, and that will alternate the windows. Okay. You can also, the channel rack is a special case. If you click in any area of the background here, the channel rack will be brought to the front. So let's say you click on your, this is the sequencer. So go ahead and click on your sequencer here, this big grid. This is where you're going to put like things to make your song. But if you click on the background here, you're brought back to the channel rack. So I use that without even thinking about it. That's just how I navigate FL. And I'm sure it confuses people when I'm working with them if they're used to another DAW. But basically, the channel rack, this is like your, going to be your hub for all your sounds. Okay. So you opened up 2 of them, but now you can see you can actually go through. So these things right here are your channels. If you shift click on it, you can like rename it. Or if you right click on it, so shift click, you're able to rename stuff really fast. So shift click, I'll name this, dope synth. And now I've got my dope synth. And if you want to hear it, there's a couple ways you can hear it. So I don't know if you want to name yours. What are you going to name it?
I'm going to name it Jazz.
Oh,
Cat.
Cool. So
I don't know.
That's great. So you hit enter. I want to hit the enter for you. All right. So there you go. So it's been renamed. And what we have here is, if you want to hear it, you probably have up here in the corner this little icon with a keyboard on it.
Yes, I do.
So that means that when you hit keys on your typing keyboard, they will play notes on your synth.
So any specific.
So if
Can I try that out? Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of loud. Turn down your volume.
right.
Geez. So to get to the volume.
Whoa.
Go ahead and close that window.
Okay.
Okay, now scroll back to the window you're at that says Harmless or Jazz Cats. Just click on it and click on it.
Click on
again.
it. Got it.
Yeah, click on it. There you go. Or you could just alternatively, you could have just clicked on the window. Right. Yeah. So there's no volume knob, as you can see in clear view. And you see this little cog up here in the corner? It's green.
Yes, I see that.
Click that. And now you've got the volume knob right here. So we're going to turn that down.
Okay.
Because these are very loud. And now, if you play keys on your computer keyboard.
Any keys?
Not any key. There's actually it's going to be from Z to, I believe, the question mark. And it's laid out like a keyboard. So yeah.
Oh, there's super delay on this.
Yeah, because I told you there'd be delay. And then if you go up to Q through, I believe, the brackets. Yeah, the brackets. You're going to get the next octave up.
Okay.
So if you want to reset a setting, go ahead and move the frequency knob.
Frequency knob.
In the middle, the big frequency knob. Yeah,
okay,
that one.
Sure.
If you middle mouse click it, it'll reset to its default value.
Whoa, that's not middle mouse. Okay.
Yeah, so as you see, it resets. So if you move it around, a quick way to reset things. So anyways, that's volume. If your volume knob is disappeared, that could be stuff that's really frustrating when you're new. You're like, where the heck is the freaking volume knob? You also have on your channel rack, you see these two knobs here?
Yes.
So this one's panning. So it'll take the sound you have and go left or right.
Okay.
So if we move it to the left here and play it, it's in our left. Now it's in our right.
Okay, I'll just take it. I'll just take
your volume has disappeared. Where the heck did your volume go?
Oh, here.
Well, don't turn that all the way up. It should be fine where it's at. There you go. You got it back.
Got it.
Okay, cool. And you also have another volume knob here. So if you're at a loss for where the volume knob is, you have a list of volume knobs per channel here. Okay.
It's pretty convenient.
Yeah. So you want these. Yeah, FL is giving you a lot of volume knobs. You have one here, and you have one in this cog icon here. And then if you click on the wrench, you actually have another one, surprisingly.
Tooling about?
Yeah, and I like to use each one for a different purpose. And we'll talk about that later. But you just have volume knobs everywhere. It's crazy. Okay, so that's loading a synth and where the volume knobs are. If you want to load a sample, let's say you want to sequence a beat. Okay. Well, as you can see here, we already have some samples loaded up, but they're just sort of haha samples. They don't sound very good. So we'll go to packs in our browser.
All right.
And we'll go to drums, and then you have kicks and hi-hats. So we'll just pick some random kick samples. So I'm just gonna pick FPC7.
All right.
I did that kind of fast.
Should I pick the same one?
It doesn't matter which one you pick.
All right, cool. I'll pick FPC1.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and drop that on your kick, on the kick channel. So drag it and watch this. So you just click it and you just drop it on top of the channel. Yeah. So now you've got a kick drum that's that sample. So if you click on your channel, you're given a whole host of options. But if you click on the sample, you can hear it. You can also get the sample of the same pitch by hitting Q on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So now what we have here is, so we've loaded a sample, and right now, this channel rack is on pattern 1. You see how up here it says pattern 1?
Yes.
So we work in patterns. So you build up a bunch of patterns, and then you could put pattern 1, pattern 2, and you could put them at the same time. But what we're going to do is in each pattern, you're given the ability to work with notes and what's called a piano roll, or you're given the ability to work with these steps, so to speak. So you have so you see how they turn a different color every 4 steps. So these are actually 16th notes.
Okay.
And so if I put it right there, it's gonna do a note on command there. And then if I put one right here, it'll do a note on there. And what it's gonna happen is it's gonna play through the whole sample. So if you have a really long sample and you have this note, it might play over this one and you just get this garbled mess of stuff. But right now, it's a kick drum. It's pretty soft. So if I hit my spacebar, it'll play those samples on those beats. Yeah. Okay, so wait, is your keyboard? I don't know where that came from.
Should I try again?
Yeah. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, this is a good thing. So go ahead and close your kick channel. Yeah, close that. And go to, you see how you have a, right here?
Yes.
You have a note. That sends a note on command, but it never receives a note off command until you hit spacebar. When you hit spacebar, FL is told to turn everything off. Oh, well, it sends a note off command to everything. But right now, you're sending just a note on command permanently. So you never want to trigger a synth with a step sequencer.
Okay.
So go ahead and click that, turn that off.
Turn that off.
To get rid of steps, you right click.
You right click, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so, and that's true if you just drag across, like if you just drag across here, boom, you hold down right click, and you can just swipe out whole columns pretty quickly.
Cool.
So if you want to put them in, like a lot of common thing is you want them on every beat, right? Mm-hmm. And so what we're gonna do is if you right click on the channel name,
okay.
This is something I actually use.
Right, right here.
Often. Well, do it on the kick drum because you don't want to trigger it. You don't want to do this with synths and stuff because you'll get that endless sound. And you see how it says fill each 2 steps, fill each 4, and fill each 8?
Yes.
So you can do that. So if we want every beat, we want every 4 steps. And now, bam.
Boom.
There it is. So you're now rocking and rolling with a kick drum 4 to the floor. We got to work out some sort of like, I'm going to play a thing and then you play a thing. That way our things don't collide.
Clash. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Now let's say you want to clear it, but you have like a ton of data here. Mm-hmm. You can right click and go to like cut. I use cut. There's like, you want to be careful about delete because I believe this actually deletes your actual channel. And so if you've like loaded a sample, you're going to have to go find that sample again, which can really suck if you were like looking for that sample. I can't remember though, because I never use this. So I always use cut. If you use cut, it clears the data for you. And you can paste it somewhere if you want. So if we go to the hi-hat, go to your hat channel, boom, and go to paste. And there it is, the same stuff. So that's just,
I see what you mean.
That's just a cut. That's what cut does in a lot of programs. It takes the information out and copies it to your computer's clipboard.
Then if I play this, I'll just get the hi-hat. I get nothing.
Oh, that's a good point. I meant to point this out earlier. You see how there are these green dots on the side?
Yes.
These are mute. So when it's off, it's muted.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, cool. We're making progress here. So now you know how to load a sample, you know how a synth works, and you know where the volume knob is, which is kind of important. There are these numbers here. Mm-hmm. We'll worry about that in a second. What I want to do is explain the sequencer. So this is the sequencer. You click on that. And you've been laying down patterns. You see how you've got like patterns scattered everywhere?
I wasn't too sure what those were.
So I was talking about how we have patterns here. So if you right click on the pattern icon up here, you have your list of patterns. And there's all these things next to them. Don't worry about them. The thing you're going to click the most is this add button.
Okay.
So let's rename it. So right click and go to rename. And I hardly ever actually go to rename. What I do is I right click and I hit R. You see how the R in the menu has like a little dots under it?
Yes.
That means that when this menu's open, you can hit that letter and it will select that thing.
Okay.
So like check it out. So I'm not going to click on that. So I'm going to right click and without even moving my mouse, I'm going to hit R and now I'm able to rename because the R is selected. So I highly recommend learning keyboard shortcuts like this. So I'm going to name this first one kick drum. Why don't you do the same? Go ahead and name it kick, and we're going to lay down our kick. So, and then hit enter. You got to hit enter at the end of these.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we've got a kick drum, and you notice they have this like area. I don't know the fancy name for it, but this is basically our patterns.
Okay.
I hardly use this, but some people, it's like a big deal. Well, I'm going to do those. I'm going to go to my FPC kick 7 or your kick drum that you picked.
Yes.
And then I'm going to right click, fill every 4. You already have that, I think. And so now we're going to come over here and you see how we have playlist arrangement and kick drum.
Yes.
So this means that we've selected the kick drum pattern. So when I click, the kick drum comes down. My kick drum pattern.
Okay.
So let's talk about navigating this, because there's a way to navigate it, and then there's like a really bad. So in a lot of programs, if you hold down Shift and scroll your mouse wheel, you'll move left and right. This does not work in FL. FL is very different. They've got their own deal. So what you need to do, because it's like a pain for me sometimes, because I get used to working in Vegas, and then all of a sudden I'm thrown off here. It'll actually like scroll it, but like in tick motions. And so that could be really bad. It could throw things out of whack. So just be careful of that if that's a habit you have. Now, the way I navigate the piano roll, I've seen other people at conventions that sort of have their own ways. Some people do this like zoom way out and then zoom in thing. Like they'll like, if you control and then right click, you zoom out. You zoom out so it shows you everything. So if we have like, let me lay down just like a bunch of random stuff. So let's say I'm working. If I control right click, I zoomed out so that everything I have is shown to me.
Okay, so I did that exact same thing.
And so now you're showing everything.
Well, everything disappeared.
Well, no. Control right click again. Now you're showing everything.
Okay.
So okay there. Now if you hold down control and right click drag, you can. It starts with an M. It's like macree. I don't know that word. Sorry about that. Maybe you know the word. Macree zooming. I've only
Macro?
I don't think it's called macro because it's spelled kind of funny.
Oh.
I know what it like looks like as a word, but I've never had to say it out loud. So if you right click, you could zoom in on a specific area. So this was how this guy would navigate. I personally hate this method. I am much more used to having keys that scroll in and out. So I don't use this hardly ever, but I know it's a thing some people really like. So, but what I do is if you hold down control and scroll your mouse wheel, you zoom in wherever your
Oh, that's convenient.
yeah, you zoom in wherever your mouse wheel is. And then if you click your mouse wheel, you get like a little hand and you can
Whoa.
You got to click your mouse wheel. That mouse, that's why I didn't like the mouse. So no, you click the mouse wheel.
Oh, just the mouse.
Hold the mouse. Now you're panning. So this is called panning. So what I'll do is I'll zoom out by, zooming out. And I'll zoom in where I want, which is wherever my cursor is.
Okay.
And then I'll pan around.
Pan. All right, I'm zooming.
Well, let's say like, for example, zoom all the way out and then zoom into this upper corner over here.
The upper corner. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hold up.
Yeah.
So I'm zooming in to the upper corner.
Well, okay. Well, you're doing like a hybrid thing. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, wow.
But
I'll roll with it.
yeah. So you can. I'm talking about like you zoom out with the mouse wheel method.
All right.
And then you zoom in with the scrolling. So you control scroll.
Okay. Control scroll.
Yeah, and scroll in. And then I use to move around little short distances. I just pan with my middle mouse clicking.
Oh, but you have to hit control. Oh,
no control on this. You just move with the middle mouse click.
Oh, with the little mouse click. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So this is something that, especially when I want to just move like an inch or two, which is pretty common when you're working at a detailed level. This is something that's just fantastic.
Yeah, I can now see why this mouse is detestable.
Yeah. He bought me a mouse, and this mouse wheel sucks to click. It's like impossible to click.
I bought you two, okay?
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to pull out the other one for the rest of these. But now you see why I got it, and I was like, oh, this is it's messing up navigation, because navigation is like, it's so important in being able to move around a track. So yeah, there's the macree zooming, or macree, I don't know. Someone in the comments is gonna tell me. And then there's the scroll and mouse wheel. So those are your methods, okay? Now you notice that we can put our patterns wherever. So let's try and make a simple beat real quick.
All right.
So you delete things in the playlist the same way you delete notes in the step sequencer.
Okay.
Or in the channel rack. You just drag with a right click. And you see your icon even changes to like a little deleting. Right click.
Yes.
And drag. Yeah, that's how you get rid of stuff. You'll get better at navigating, as you just do more of it. So I'm going to drop my kick drum here. Okay. And so I'm on the paintbrush tool. You see up here, you have these different tools.
Yeah.
So there's only really a few. There's shortcuts for all of this. And so I'm really used to the shortcuts. But basically, the paintbrush tool, you click and drag, and it paint brushes for you.
Oh, wow.
But I like Actually, I don't really care what I'm working with now, but most of the time I'm working on the pencil tool. So I'll be working with the pencil tool and it does the same thing, but when you click, it drags the pattern with you. It doesn't drag like a bunch of them.
So if I lay down a track here.
Yeah.
And it just, oh, okay.
Yeah. So you see how it's like, it's dragging.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
away.
So what you want is, let's say you want it to behave like the paintbrush tool.
Okay.
You want to be able to drop down a bunch of them all at once like this.
Yeah.
But you like using the pencil tool to place stuff. You only want to do that sometimes.
Okay.
In fact, the better you get at working with FL, the more you want to use the pencil tool because you're not doing a lot of repetition all the time.
Sure.
So, especially with jazz. So what you're going to do is if you hold down shift and then drag, it behaves just like the paintbrush tool.
What?
Yeah. So now it's like, why do we even need the paintbrush tool? I don't know. But that's a pretty nifty trick I use when I'm laying down. Maybe I'm laying down like 4 things, and then I'm going to change each one individually. So okay, so go ahead, lay down 4 kick drum patterns.
Okay.
For your first bit. Now you notice this has a grid on it, and so this is your first measure. So there are 4 beats. Now I have a music theory course. If any of you guys don't know music theory, this is one thing Jordan's totally comfortable with. So if you have like 0 idea what I'm talking about with a measure, I've got a course called MIDI Music Theory that can walk you through the basics of like what a measure is, what a beat is, all that kind of stuff, so that you can move forward and not be hindered by that.
Oh, right. So I'm gonna. Wait, I forgot how to do it.
So you want to place a pattern. So you have your kick drum pattern selected. You can see it here. So you just click.
Kick drum, pattern 1.
You want your kick drum pattern. So select your kick drum. Yeah.
All right.
And then just click. And now you want to hold down shift to drop down multiple.
Right. Okay, wait. Here, let me try again. So shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I want 4 bars of that.
Yeah. Now you've got it, but it's off a little bit. So let's talk about that. So this could be pretty frustrating when you're new. So you've laid them down, right? Here you go, you've got them. But they're in the wrong spot. You're like, and you just deleted them all.
Yeah.
Which is like, just like the worst way you could do it.
Okay, wait, here.
So,
should I leave it or should I make it off again?
Well, let me show you what to do. So first, let's talk about if you've accidentally deselected stuff.
Okay.
So if you hold Control and click elsewhere, you'll deselect stuff. So Control and click somewhere else on the playlist. That's how you deselect stuff without dropping stuff. Because a lot of people, they'll have stuff selected and they'll click, and now they've dropped this, and I'll see them delete it, and I'm like, that's a lot of extra clicking.
Right.
And you're placing patterns, and this is just bad. So if you Control click, you deselect things without actually doing that. Now, to select things, hold down Control, click, and drag. You'll get like a box that allows you to select stuff. Now, if you want to select maybe this guy, and this guy, there's a way to do that. You'll hold Control, and then while holding down Control, you hold down Shift, and you're able to select additional items or deselect additional items. Yeah, see, you could be a lot more specific. So maybe you want like these things, so you can like take them. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to just select these items again and just snap them on over. Yeah. Yeah. Now, we're snapping. What if we want to go to like a smaller value? Like what if this snap is too big?
Okay.
So up here, you see this little magnet icon?
Yes.
Right next to it says the word line. No, above that. There's like 2 magnet icons.
Okay.
I never noticed how, I never really touched this one. What is that? Snap to grid. I guess it's just an automatic snap to grid thing. Anyways, this is your snap setting. So if you click on this, you can snap to various settings. So for example, if we want to increase the resolution of our grid, we could go to snap 1/2 step.
All right.
And as we zoom in here, there's actually more steps we can zoom to. So you see how there's like more grid lines?
Yes.
And so I'm able to snap to these grid lines. I could go to snap 1/4 step and get even like more. Like,
okay.
I don't even know. 1/28 notes or something? A lot of notes, man. 30-second notes? Something. And we have like 1/6 steps. These are like triplets. So if you're going for like a triplet kind of thing, you go for multiple of 3. You also have like 1/2 beat, 1/3 of a beat, 1/4 of a beat. So like usually I work with 1/3 of a beat when I'm thinking triplets.
Okay.
Because now you notice your downbeats stay the same.
Yes.
They also recently added this feature that I actually think is kind of a basic feature that is really necessary. They added time signatures.
Bar?
Like time
Time
signatures.
signatures.
Before it was always like 4-4. If you wanted to do anything in odd meter, you had to do some magic stuff. You basically had to ignore the grid, which was like, I mean, it worked, but this is a much more elegant solution. But now let's say generally you want to snap to like a line. Like usually you want to do that. So if you click on it and you go to snap to cell, you'll snap to the nearest cell, which is in my mind basically a line. I'm sure there's like a difference. And then you also have the option for line. So there you have it. I think snap to cell is actually I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between these two. They're both options and I treat them the same. So it's not that important, I don't think. Right. So maybe someone in the comments will disagree. So anyways, that's okay. So this is the playlist. So let's go ahead. Let's place down our pattern. You hold shift click and place down your 4 kick drums. And now we'll go and we're going to add a new pattern and we're going to name it hat for our hi-hat.
Hat.
Yeah. Well, you already have it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It pops up there in the corner automatically. So,
right. So hat.
Yeah. And then hit enter. Cool. So now we're going to go and now we're on a new pattern. So see how our kick information is now gone?
Yes.
It's on to the pattern kick drum. So now we're going to go to our hat channel on number 3. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to do fill every 2 steps. Now, if I play this, or sorry. Okay, this is a good point. Right now, my playhead is in the sequencer.
Okay.
And so if you look up here, you see how it has song in green?
Yes.
That is going to play the song. But I wanted to play my pattern, right? On my channel rack in this particular pattern. So I'm going to switch to pattern. And if I hit play, it begins to play.
Oh. Wait.
Oh, okay. Now you are having a different issue. Well, actually, just see this. Oh my gosh, your audio quit on you again. Go to hit F11.
Okay. F11.
Sometimes this may happen to you. Maybe your audio quits on you for some weird reason. Go to the audio tab. We didn't talk about setup. If you guys have questions about that, go to device, click on that. Go to primary sound driver. Now go back to, click on it again. Go back to the Focusrite.
Right here, right?
Yeah, that one.
All right.
Okay, now it should work. Close.
Close.
And hit spacebar.
There
Now
we go.
it works. Okay, cool. I'm not exactly sure what's causing that. I've been trying to figure it out. It's only on that computer too, so maybe it's a computer thing. But anyways, you see it plays. Now it's kind of a long hat sound. Maybe I don't want it that long. So open up your channel. And we have a bunch of pre-computed effects. Don't sweat it too much, but some of the most useful controls in here are in and out. So if you move out, it basically fades the volume out on the sample quickly. So go ahead and turn your out up. And you can audition it by hitting Q. And you see how we have a much shorter sound now?
Q, where's Q? Oh,
Q.
yeah.
So now it's short versus, you know, when we had it out, it was off. It was like long.
Yes.
So that's pretty nifty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run with this shorter version of our sound. And I'm going to close my window. It's good habit to close stuff because if you leave stuff open, it can consume processing. FL native stuff's no problem, but when you start using third-party stuff, it will begin to bog down, and sometimes it can make a large impact. So I'm going to place that down now. Actually, I'm going to do it just on the second 2 beats. I mean, the second 2 bars. So on measures 3 and 4, as you can see up here, I have it's selected. Yeah, go ahead and place those and move them on over. Now you're changing the length. You go to the, so to change the length of a pattern, you go to the edge and you see how my icon switches?
Yes.
If I click and drag, it will adjust the length.
Okay.
There's actually like sort of a nuance to this because once you do this, it will no longer auto update.
Whoa, okay. So let me just try that again.
No, you should be able, you don't want to get in the habit of deleting stuff you should be able to fix what it is you put down. So you had this before, or you had this. And you like didn't know what to do. So you just deleted stuff.
Yeah.
So what you do is if you have nothing selected, you'll only change the one pattern. So you got to select them both and move them over.
Okay.
And then your snap setting can make quite a difference. Because if your snap setting's weird, like if we have like a 1/3 beat, you're going to snap differently, see?
Sure.
So sometimes people will get themselves real confused by like having themselves on an incorrect snap setting without realizing it. And it will literally be impossible in some cases to go back to the beat because they've just gone through this weird process where they just confuse themselves.
Yeah.
In that case, it might be better to just delete everything and go back to cell or line. It's just a simpler solution, but it just depends on what you've been doing. You should be able to untangle it though. So now if I play this, and we'll have our hats come in right now. So that's pretty nice.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now we're on it.
There we go.
So go ahead and it will always, when it reaches the end, it'll loop forward. So like it'll just keep restarting. So some people to get the silence that they want at the end, maybe they want like a tail of silence, they'll just extend a pattern. That way it plays out and it doesn't just loop right back to the beginning.
Okay, so I would just do shift and then...
No shifting there. You just hover over the edge and drag.
Oh.
That's it.
All right, cool.
If you want to undo, it's the same as every other program. Control Z. So go ahead, hit Control Z. Now you need more than one undo. And so this is like Photoshop, I believe. Hit Control Alt Z.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I took graphic design in high school. There you go.
Yeah, so, and you'll see here so let me open that up on mine. You see how there's all these additional channels? Undos. So you can actually change the number of undos. I recommend setting it high because you want to be able to go far back in your project. It takes a little more memory, but it's worth it. So this will always pop up. It will change your browser location when you undo more than one thing. And so if you want to get back, you might get lost and go, where the heck, where is this? Because all your other folders are like gone. You see how they're all gone? So you want to get back to your samples. Well, up here you have these 3 icons. It's so this one's for plugins.
All right, plugins.
This is like, we won't touch this till we get much more advanced. This is just your undos. This is sort of, I guess the idea is your files that are currently loaded for the particular project you're in. Sure. So these are like the undos for this project. And you have like the patterns for this project here. Yeah, and then the last one's your samples. So it's supposed to look like a waveform. It's kind of, with it being so small, it looks more like 3 diamonds, but it's supposed to be a waveform. And you have you're back at your sample page. So that's how you get back to your sample page. Okay, so we've done a little bit. We've laid down a kick drum and a hat. And we've talked about how basically we're writing a little song now. Now we haven't even touched the mixer yet. And your mixer is completely gone in yours. Yeah. So if something's missing, chances are there's the menu up here for it. Now in FL20, it is actually now possible to be missing this menu. So if you right click up here, I'm going to be working with either default or default FL12 because I'm really used to the FL12 layout. And this is very identical. They just moved this bit. It used to be over here. I don't like how this is. I wish it was back in the corner. It was nice before. I don't like that, but some people, maybe they love it. I don't know. So anyways, I'm going to be working probably with default. I'm just going to get used to it being over there. I just have to get used to it. So you should have these if you're working in the default setting. And the mixer icon is this guy right here. These are supposed to be like little faders. Ooh. Now your mixer looks different than my mixer. Do you want to talk about the mixer or do you want to talk about adding a little synth line to this? It's up to you.
Well, let's lay down a synth line and then we can mix it.
Okay, so we've already got our synth here. You actually have 2 synths and we're just going to stick with one. Okay. So we're going to open up a new pattern and we're going to call that one synth.
Okay. Wait. Where is it? Right here?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. And we'll call it synth. A good habit to name stuff. Every now and then, if you just hit enter, it'll assume the name of the next pattern. So like pattern 4 or whatever.
I'm not spelling that right.
It's whatever. I know sweat spelling.
There we go.
I don't know if you there's a programmer who makes tutorials called The New Boston. And He inspired me to stop caring about spelling. Now, let's pick out a cool kind of sound. So this is like sound design. In this series, we're not really going to delve into sound design, but we are going to make an interesting sound here. So go ahead, open up your synthesizer. And one of the things when I was new, because I didn't know sound design like at all. Actually, you've got two synths, so let's delete one. So you see how you have this second synth here? Let me open up another synth. So pretend this is harmless.
Okay.
So I don't want this synth here. You can right click and go to delete. Oh yeah, this is definitely the delete. I don't know why I was wondering that.
You're talking about this one right here, right?
Yeah, so you want to get rid of that. So you can right click and go to delete.
Okay.
Or alternatively, this is why I wasn't completely sure. If I use this one, Alt Delete. So you see how there's this green icon next to it?
Yes.
That means that this channel you have selected currently.
Okay.
So you only want this channel selected. If you have more, you'll accidentally delete like a bunch, which is why I prefer this method. It allows you to delete a whole bunch of things at once.
So Alt Delete?
Alt Delete. And then it's going to say, are you sure you want to delete it?
I hit delete.
That's the wrong delete. You need, this is,
oh, here we go.
FL has like specific, yeah.
Is that the right
So you
delete?
hit Alt Delete. Yeah, that's the one.
Why is nothing happening?
I don't know why nothing's happening. Let me see this. The heck? Yeah.
Oh, there we
I don't know. It works.
Maybe you just
I don't know what this is. And then just hit yeah, because you want to delete it. It'll check with you, which is nice, so you don't accidentally delete.
Composing Gloves has a magic touch. All right.
Yeah.
So I just hit OK.
Yeah, you hit OK, or you can hit Enter, so you don't have to. Okay. You don't want to be like using your mouse that much. Like it's better because it's faster, more efficient, less thinking. You're just doing things. So now we've got our one synth. We've deleted that extra channel. So like if I wanted, so for example, we're not using the clap channel right now or the snare channel. So go ahead and select those two channels by selecting one and then hit Control Shift.
Okay.
Well, you want to select the snare and the clap. So yeah, so you have the snare and then Control Shift to add the next thing to your selection.
Okay, Control Shift clap.
Yeah, and now we want to delete these, and so if we delete them through the delete menu, see how it deselects our stuff?
Yes.
That's not cool. So we're gonna hit Alt Delete, and we'll get rid of those extra channels. And then hit OK. You gotta get rid of this mouse habit. It's a bad habit. So, okay, now we're on our dope synth, or you're on your Jazz Cat synth. So go ahead, click on your Jazz Cat synth, open it up. You're in the wrench menu up in the corner. So these are like where a bunch of cool MIDI effects are, but we'll worry about these later. Okay. Go ahead and go to the plugin icon.
Plugin icon.
So now you're on the main GUI. So we want to make a cool sound and make sure your volume's down because these are quite loud. Harmless is especially. And
all right, volume, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're down. And now what I'm going to show you how to do is we have a filter here. And I want to make a cool sounding sound.
Okay.
Oh, wait, let's do presets because people are going to want to know how to browse presets. So plugins sometimes have a special way of dealing with this because they'll have like their own file type. But FL stuff is pretty straightforward. You see how it says presets up here?
Yes.
Go ahead and right click on that.
Okay.
You should get a big menu, like a way bigger one than mine. Right click on specifically on the little arrows.
On the arrows? Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And see, you get like a way big menu. I don't like this big menu. You've got, you should have this thing. So this is like too many presets. It could be nice if you want to view them all, like I guess at once. But you go to the very end of your menu.
Okay.
You see how it says tree display?
Yes.
Turn that on. Now right click again. Bam.
There we go.
It now reads the folder system. So you can actually make your own folders and put them in here. But let's just pick a sound. Let's go for, I don't know, which one you want to try out. Pick one that's sort of, you don't think will sound that crazy though. Like pretty reasonable.
Okay, all right. What about Plucky Moogish?
Okay, there's Plucky Moogish. What is that? Under basses?
Yes, AG. I don't know if that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go for the first one. Okay, so now to audition it, you just play some keys. I'm gonna go lower. There's a way. I have a MIDI keyboard on my setup, so I hardly ever use my typing keyboard. But I believe if you hit Control down, it. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I can't remember how it works. Anyways, but basically, if you click down here, you can hear the lower notes and the higher notes. So if you want to browse another preset, you could come in here and do that again, but maybe you found a region of like you want to go through the basses. You can just hit back and forth and it will scroll through the preset. So go ahead, try out the next preset over or something.
All right, I'm gonna try E-bass.
Well, try doing it through the arrow icons instead.
The arrow icons? Okay.
Yeah. So you can like browse like a lot of presets very quickly.
Oh, here we go. Like
well,
that, right?
No. Select one.
All right.
Watch, I'll show you.
Okay.
Hit
select.
enter. Just pick one.
Okay, enter.
Okay. Now go ahead and play it. You know, hear what it sounds like. Cool. Now hit the over button. Don't right click. Just click on the arrow. No, not that arrow. But that's interesting. I didn't know that was a shortcut. The arrow icon up here.
Okay, the arrow icon.
Yeah. And so just hit over. Yeah, and now you're on the next preset. So try it out. Now do it again. Yeah. Okay. That's good. So now that's how you browse presets fast. Okay. A lot of other plugins will have other ways of dealing with this, but FL stuff is just how it works. So cool. So we've like made our menu, you know, reasonable, and we've done this. I don't know why that other menu is like the default. But anyways, I'm going to be working with Poly 6. I guess you'll work with that preset.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to close it by clicking on the channel right there. Go to your channel rack. Yeah. And if your channel rack's like out of view and you don't have a blank space, you can get to it by hitting F6.
All right. So channel rack, and then what?
And then just go ahead and close it because we're not going to need the GUI, and it takes up like valuable screen space, especially if you have a small screen.
All right.
So now we're going to right click on our channel rack, and they have this thing. This is the piano roll.
Okay.
You see that? So you're going to click that. It's going to open up the piano roll. That's ironically something I don't use the keyboard shortcut for. There is the icon for it up here. It's this icon with these like, it makes sense if you know what the piano roll is, but this is the piano roll icon. It looks like a piano with like MIDI on it.
Okay.
But if you don't know what that is, it could be kind of a weird thing. So you're confronted with a piano, and I automatically make some adjustments to this piano. I don't like how you can't see the notes because it's not exactly clear where you are on the piano sometimes. And I play piano, so it should be pretty easy, but it's not because it's pretty symmetrical looking. Like, look at that. How are you supposed to know where you are? So go up here to this icon up here. It's down. Yeah, click that. So this is like your master menu. You notice it's a very similar menu to all of them. It's the same. Go to view.
View?
Yeah, view. And go down to key labels.
Okay, key labels. Right
and that's not key labels.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, key labels, and then select all notes.
Oh.
You select now you have now you're really lost.
Okay.
Back to this
I did the exact
icon
opposite.
wrench right there. This one? Oh, well, open it back up. Click that again. You closed it. Now open this down arrow icon right here. Now go to we're going to view because we want to change our view.
Oh, I remember.
And then we're going to key labels, all notes. Now we have all our notes. There's like other things you can change. If you don't like the matte look of the piano, you can like alter that, but we don't care about that right now. So now this is where we input notes.
Okay.
And we're going to talk a lot about this later, but right now we're just going to get a simple line down. So there's a couple rules that are true of pretty much any DAW, except for Pro Tools and a couple others that are just like the lamest things on earth right now when it comes to MIDI editing. But what we can do is you click a note, you place it down.
Oh, that's too high. Hold up.
I'll explain the differences if people want to know like later, but most people would agree. It's an audio editor, so you know, no hard feelings. Pro Tools, just that's something you could improve on. You could put it on your thing as a big sale update. So you're clicking on the keyboard. You can like hear the key that you're gonna play. Yeah, but you got to click on the grid. So you click on the grid and you can play notes or place notes.
This grid right here?
No, that's something else. We'll talk about that in a second. So there's this down here. If you're missing this might be like closed. So just come down here to this icon thing and drag it up. And that'll bring this up. We're going to need this. Yeah. These are how loud each individual note is.
Okay.
And this is kind of a ubiquitous way to show that. It's common in a lot of DAWs.
Cool.
So, okay, you've placed notes down. Obviously we don't want it, but basically what happens is when we hit play on our pattern, so we're in pattern right now.
Okay.
We're not working in our play. We're working in a pattern.
Yep.
That's not in our sequencer, so we can't hear it. And when I hit play, the playhead will move across, and as long as this note's dragged out, it's going to make that sound. That easy. Yeah, okay, so go ahead, stop it. Yeah, so now we have all these other notes. And you have other notes. You may need to zoom out or whatever. The zooming works the exact, all the navigations are the same in the piano roll.
Cool. So what is that? Control and then...
Yeah, control mouse wheel.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If you hold alt mouse wheel, that'll squeeze stuff up and down.
Okay, so I'm hitting control.
Yeah, so you're zooming. So if you hold control and zoom out by scrolling out, now you're zoomed out.
Yep.
And then wherever you move your mouse head, that's going to be like where you zoom in.
Oh, okay.
So you scroll. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how I do things. Yeah. But you can do the other way. That way is actually pretty interesting. I think the alt function... no, it's the zoom out. It's the control zoom out. See, I don't use it as much as I could. Maybe I could get in the habit. Anyways, what we're going to do is let's select all our notes because we kind of just place notes randomly.
Okay.
And let's talk about placing down notes of different sizes because that's going to be something you're going to want to do. So you selected them all. Instead of doing that, because that could be like really bad. What if you have notes everywhere?
Right.
You can hit, there's a couple ways. You can hold control and drag to select a region of notes vertically or horizontally, I mean. So drag on the piano roll.
Oh, on the piano roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can select them. That's still not that great though for our case. Hit Control A. That's select all in most AWs.
Boom.
And then hit delete. And they're gone. Now this is an important point here. To deselect, I saw some poor guys at another convention I was at that were trying to deselect and they couldn't on their first try. And I used to be pinged by this freaking inability. I would click up here because you click up here to deselect because you're selecting a region of time.
Yes.
So this, if I hit play, it's going to play through this bit of time only. And normally, if you just click up here, control click, it will deselect, just like it works in every other thing. But every now and then, it just won't do it, and it's really annoying. So I never use this method at all anymore, because sometimes it'll just give me a really hard time. So I hit Control D. If you hit Control D, it deselects whatever you have selected, which has become one of my most important shortcuts, ironically. So Control D is like a big deal. So I'm going to place down just a simple bass, offbeat bass. So I'm going to, notes of different length. So we place down a note. We have this length note, right?
Okay.
So go ahead, place down a note of this length.
All right. Let me pick a note.
Go down, pick like C4. Pick the same note.
I'm trying to find it. C5, G4. Oh, here we go, C4.
Yeah, so place a note there. Oh, yours is kind of low. Go with C5 on yours.
All right.
It's better.
C5.
And now right click on that other note to get rid of it. Yeah. So put it at the front and maybe zoom in a bit because you're kind of zoomed out far. So it's going to be hard to work on a melody with it zoomed out so far. So control squirrel. Yeah. And pan over with the middle mouse. Other way. Yeah. And then drag that on over. There you go. Cool. Now let's say we want a longer note. So on, I don't know, the E flat above.
Okay.
Place another note. Okay, and drag the end of the note out, maybe to the half note. So the second bar, light bar here. Make it a bit bigger so we can see a clear difference. All right, cool. Now, if you want to place notes of this length, you just click some more, and you'll get notes of that length.
Just anywhere?
Of the big length, yeah. So go ahead and delete those. Now let's say you want to put a note of this length.
Okay.
Well, simply click on this note. Now place notes. Bam, you get notes of that length. So if you want notes of a shorter length or a longer length, you simply just place notes down and drag them to the length you want once, and then you just click on them if you need shorter ones. I work so fast with this, I don't even think about this stuff. But as soon as you move some like Pro Tools, you can't do this. it'll always put down a note of the same length unless they changed it in the new update. So I'm sure at some point it's going to change. There's no way they can leave that the way it is. So anyways, that's how you choose notes of different lengths. So if we have short, now let's say you don't want a note that's on the grid.
All right.
That's a kind of a common thing. You can hold Alt, and it allows you to scroll a note off the grid. You didn't click on the note. You added a new note. You should be holding Alt before you click.
Okay.
So hold Alt, go to the edge of the note. Your mouse icon will change. Yeah. Now you're changing.
Woo!
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So that's how that works. So go ahead and let's lay down a simple bass note. Now, if we click, you see how we're off a bit if we zoom in here?
Yes.
This is something that happens a lot. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to drag it back into place by holding Alt.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what note length you're at. See how it's slightly off on yours?
Yeah.
So zoom into the very end of that note.
Okay. Zooming.
And then just hold Alt, push it, and drag it back to the length of a line. Now you can snap to line settings. If you leave it offset, like say I leave it like this, whenever I drag, it's going to snap a little bit past every single line. So some people get really frustrated because they can't figure out how to get it back to where it's supposed to be.
It's a drag.
Yeah, so you have to zoom in and Alt drag. And that'll move it back.
Whee!
I mean, you don't really make these mistakes at the beginning, like without messing, like you're experimenting and something goes wrong and you can't figure out how to undo it. And these are common things that just occur. So anyways, let's write down our bass line. So I'm going to do just a simple C on the backbeat.
All right.
And then you're going to want to zoom out. So you control zoom out, or you could pan. I guess that works. But now you're not sure really where you're working, because that's the, this right here is the beat, right?
Yeah.
So that one's going to be on the beat.
Yeah, these are on the beat.
Yeah.
You want them off the beat.
Well, I guess. I thought you were doing the same thing I was, but now I see you're doing on the beat. So why don't you do on the beat? So now zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
And then, oh, see, you're zoomed in so far that you're placing eighth notes.
Whoa. Okay.
So
yeah.
you got to be aware
even,
of this. That's a common thing, being aware of your zoom level. So you can tell where you are based on how far 1 and 2 are apart from each other.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. Hold up. Let me fix that. Yeah, that
Okay. Yeah. Pretty helpful. Oh, now I'm placing. Yeah, no. I'm on the ands of the beats, so I'm fine.
That's a whole beat right there, right?
Yeah, no, that's a whole measure.
That's a whole measure. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So then, all right. So we want this. That's what we want.
So you're gonna do beats 2 and 4?
Yeah, 2 and 4.
Okay, so you place that down. Okay, cool. That's what we're gonna do for now. We'll get more complicated later. Just placing these things down when you're new is a process. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this window. So we're gonna close it. And if we look here at our channel rack, you could click on the background to get to your channel rack, or you could hit F6. That's one that I kind of use a lot sometimes. Now you closed yours because you already had it selected. So if you hit it again, it'll come back. Yeah. And again, if you just, like, let's say I close it and it's gone, I can still just click on the, oh, I can't. I thought I could. Never mind. You got to hit F6.
Right.
So now you know. That could be a real problem if you accidentally do that. That, or you got to click up here on the channel rack icon, which is this one. I don't use the icons as much anymore. So what we're going to do now is, as you can see, we have MIDI information shown here. But if you want to edit it, you can click on it to edit it. So it brings that up. So once you've laid down information, it's really easy to open it back up. You don't have to go through that menu. So if we close it, we don't have to go to piano roll, but this is pretty dang friggin' quick too. So I use that a lot. So go ahead and close that one more time. Just want to show you that you could get back to it fast. Go to your sequencer.
Sequencer?
Yeah, now on your sequencer, we're going to add in our bass line. So I'm going to simply, well, let's listen to what I have right now. It's so exciting. And what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm on my synth. It's the pattern I want. And then I'm going to clip. Audio clips are like treated separately from patterns. They'll appear above But don't worry about that too much. So I've laid down my synth line, and if I play it, I'm making a banger. What kind of song are you making?
I'm just trying to copy you.
Oh, you know that's where people start. That's how you get good.
Okay, that sounds really lame.
Well, you're playing on your pattern.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry.
So yeah.
Song. Let's see.
That's pretty cool. Now yours is kind of soft, right? So go ahead, spacebar. Spacebar will. Oh, this is an interesting thing. So you notice when you hit spacebar, it like you were over here, and when I hit spacebar, it brings me back.
Okay.
So sometimes you don't want to go back all the way back.
Right.
So what you can do is you can like click, and this places the playhead somewhere else. And when you hit spacebar, there's a little shadow that's left behind. You see the little triangle shadow? That's where your playhead's gonna snap to.
Okay.
So it's called the playhead, by the way.
That's interesting.
I just sort of, some people don't know these terms. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory term though. So anyways, yeah, so that's how you move your playhead around without it being like, oh, weird on you. And if you want to loop a region, you just hold Control and select the region you desire to loop. And you have to select it while you're dragging where the measure marks are. So where this little like line 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So then I would like that.
Yeah. And so now if you play through it, it'll loop through that for you. Yeah. And if you hold shift, you can move the selection. There's one other, I believe it's Alt. No, that's how you play the J.
Shit.
I can't remember. There's a way to add or subtract from your current selection, but I don't use that one that much. Pretty sure there is. I'm not even sure if there is. And you hold Control, you hit Control D to deselect. Now yours was your synth was pretty soft. Now some people will fix this in the mixer, which is bad. You want to go right to the source. So we say, well, the synth is soft, and we know we turned the volume down. So go back to your synth and open it up. Yeah, and then turn up your synth a little bit. Now you probably want to be listening to it while you turn it up. So
okay, volume. This.
Well, that's
yeah,
there we go. Maybe not that much. This is you should be listening to it while you do this, right? So hit space bar. Now your playhead, go ahead, stop. Your playhead is not in the correct location, so you're not hearing your synth. So go back to your sequencer and select to loop where your synth line is. So you see how you on your synth pattern you have those two little MIDI layers?
Yes.
So go ahead and select on your timeline.
Okay.
So the timeline's up there where your playhead's at.
Right here.
Select that first measure. No, down below that.
Right here.
Above that.
Right here.
Yeah, that's it. Now select that measure with the control. Yeah, drag over. Yeah. And now you'll go back to your synth.
Okay.
And so now you see how it's selected those two MIDI dots there? So when you hit play, it'll loop through that so you can listen to that. See, that's nice. So you can hear it. That's okay. Yeah. I think it's a little loud, but whatever. You want it banging, bro.
Yeah, banging.
Yeah. So go ahead and close that. Yeah, banging. Okay. So all right. So we're done with this. So there's one other piece of this. So we've talked about the browser, we've loaded sounds, we've done volume, we've written a little bit in the melody category. Well, I mean, we worked in a piano roll. So we've got one more piece that's sort of a big piece, and then we'll be able to go through in more detail in other videos. So I'm going to come into my mixer. Now, yeah, you got your mixer up. So go ahead and select your mixer.
Is it selected?
No, because it's still behind your sequencer.
Okay.
So just click on it. Yeah,
there
it brings
we go.
it up. If it's not selected, it's F8 or F9. It's F9.
F9.
Yeah, F9 is the toggle key for that. And yours looks a little different. Some people like this one. There's actually one that even offers an insert view. If you go to like extra large, you get like inserts. I don't like this because you can only see like 17 channels, I guess, at once. So I want to be able to see as many channels as possible. And I'm just used to this. If you walk into a studio and they have a board, you can see every channel on the board is not an issue. The issue is walking to the other end of the board. So what we're going to do is you see up here where it says extra large.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to, it was like one of these compact, probably
Compact.
just compact.
Okay.
I work in this. I don't think there's any, unless you have really bad eyesight or something. I don't like working like this. You just can't see enough. So I like working in compact. So now we're in compact view, and we want to. This is something that's really unique in FL. Our channel information, these sounds, these samples in this synthesizer, these are not hooked up to any channel right now. So each one of these is a channel, and you can put a sound through it, and you'll like see it coming through. And so you can see the levels of every single sound, which is like really important. And you can also process them with these slots over here. So if you click on a slot, you're able to load a plugin into it. And I don't use the tree view on this. I don't know why. In fact, I might consider it now. I've never even thought about that.
The tree view.
I use another view. I use the search function a lot of the time. Yeah, that's weird to me. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. So
Maybe I will. I don't know.
So how do I simple? Does it matter?
Symbol gets rid of the categories. You want the categories still. I like the categories abilities, yeah. So you can see stuff by category. You can edit all this stuff. Like you can see I have a lot of extra stuff. Mine's disorganized. You'll have a lot less in yours, so don't get distressed. I'm going to use a different method though. I'm not going to use this menu. I'm going to use more plugins. It's the first thing on your list. And you're able to... Oh, my computer froze up.
You're in slot 2?
There it is. More plugins.
Doesn't matter what slot.
It doesn't matter which slot.
All right, I'll do slot 1.
Wow, yours froze up too. Both of them froze up. That's weird. Yeah, so select more plugins at the top.
Okay.
And so now we're brought to a menu that's got all your friggin' plugs, all of them. And what I like about this menu is there's a search function, which is nice. So I can type in like EQ, and everything with EQ in it pops up. So it gets to a point where you have so many dang plugs, menus just don't cut it anymore. You want search functions. There's another thing too called the plugin picker, which is also excellent, but I'm not going to mess with that for now. So anyways, each one of these channels, so in slots, you can load plugins to process sound that goes through a channel. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to send each one of these to a sound. Now you see how these ones have the numbers 1 and 3?
Yes.
That means on inserts, it's funny they're called inserts because I view them as channels, but they really are inserts. So on insert 1, the thing that has the 1 next to it, that goes through it.
Okay.
So if we changed our hat to 1, it's now going to go through 1 as well. So you have your hat on 3, go ahead and change it to 1. Oh, this is a good point. That could be annoying, right? So if you right click on it and hit T or go to the type in value option, you could type in a number. Now I right click and hit T because the T is underlined, so it's faster. But now go ahead and mute your kick by muting it next to it. And if we play it, you can see the hi-hat coming through on channel 1. Well, you don't have any hi-hat information because you're playing at a different spot in your sequencer. So select your sequencer.
Okay, that's right here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, delete that. Hit Control D to deselect. And then go over, move your playhead over to where a hi-hat pattern is. Or just click on your hi-hat. Now it loads the hi-hat pattern. So switch to pattern mode.
Okay, how do I do that?
Oh,
wait, yeah, here.
There is a shortcut. I'll tell you maybe in the next video.
Okay, pattern mode, and then hit play.
Yeah, and then hit play. You see how it's coming out channel 1?
Yes.
Now you see how it's also coming out the master? So go ahead and stop. So this brings us to routing. This is like a massive subject. I can't even like begin to, well, I mean, it's not that big. It's just good. We're going to cover details. So, but you see how there's a little out at the bottom here, and it's coming out and it goes into our master.
Yes.
Every single one of these channels right now is configured to do this. So if you see it come out here, what's happening is, this is called signal flow. It's really important. Your hi-hat is generating a sound. That sound is coming through insert 1 and then going into your master channel.
Okay.
Now, I don't want my kick drum, because my kick drum's also going through channel 1. So if I have my kick drum going at the same time as my hi-hat, they are both coming through channel 1, which could be like a problem. Maybe I want to process the kick differently than I want to process the hi-hat.
Right.
So I'm going to move this to channel 2. And now they're on different channels.
All right. So the kick moves to channel 2? No, the hi-hat.
I moved the hi-hat to 2, but I mean,
oh,
there's literally endless ways to do this.
Okay. And then there was a shortcut.
You could hit T.
T, yeah.
For type and value, and then hit 2. Yeah, enter. Cool. Now, insert 1 and insert 2 aren't the best names because, like, it's going to be confusing to know which one's on which. So if you shift click on insert 1, you can name it. And we're going to name it kick because the kick's coming to insert 1. And if you shift click on insert 2, you can name it hat.
Whoa. Okay, wait. Shift click.
That's a fast way to rename stuff in FL. There's another option that's even faster. Go ahead and select channel 5. This is kind of like more advanced, but now select your channels by selecting them with your icons here and hit Control L. It will automatically move them and name them in the available channel slots.
Nice.
So you see how it's labeled? Now these are labeled our channel names. You see how it's labeled FPC or yours is like that? We don't want that because that's kind of like, it's too specific to be useful. So we're just going to name this our kick because we only have one kick right now. So shift click to rename your channel. Yeah, and just name that like kick. Because we don't want we don't want all that extra junk. Enter. And now if you're concerned about losing your file path, because I know some of you guys are, you can open up your kick channel and select the browser icon, or this will show you the folder it is in your browser. So you can see it like, let me move to some weird folder. Okay, so now I'm over here. If I click this, boom, takes me back. So you don't need to worry about losing what sample you were working with by renaming it. But anyways, that's an aside. So now I want this to be renamed too so that it matches. So I'm going to select my channels again, go to channel 5 and hit Control L. Or actually in this case, wow, it did not work. I guess that doesn't work. What I'm going to do is, so now we have all this junk. We don't want all this junk. I'm going to select these channels. Yeah, you got that. Yeah, you're starting to pick it up. And I'm going to go down. It's kind of weird explaining this all out loud because like every now and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. And I'll just remember, oh, there's this other way and I'll do that. And they actually just added this option. There's a way to reset the default. It's this is a new option, so I want to do it. It's in one of these menus. They've got rename, dog, move, allow. Oh, here we go. So right click on them. Right click on the tracks themselves.
Okay.
This is really nice. Before you had to do this by hand. So I'm glad they've added a macro. And reset to, yeah. And then just hit OK. And bam, they're all back to the way they were. So now check this out. Without selecting anything, like have channel 1 selected.
Sure.
And then just go through on your channel rack. So I have your channel rack selected.
Okay.
So FL works on something called keyboard focus. So certain areas of FL have to be highlighted or selected for your keyboard shortcuts to work. So I know that you have to have your channel rack selected for this one to work. I'm not sure if it works in the mixer itself, but I'm just used to this and I know this works. So if you hit Control L, it'll move it back. What the heck? It moved them over. Not cool. So mine popped up in a weird spot. Yours didn't. Oh, hit Control L though. The heck? It's not going over. Let me see this. Oh, I think you got your mixer selected. See, see how it changed? You had your mixer? See, there you go. Keyboard focus. It doesn't work if you're not in the right focus. So if we do our mixer selection, you can tell because it like kind of comes to the forefront. Now hit Control L. It works. But see how it's like pushed them over to like the side?
Yeah.
That's annoying. So I'm going to hold Shift and scroll my mouse wheel over them. And it's going to allow me to move the channel. So, okay, this is kind of a weird
Whoa.
You can't drag it. Oh yeah, just click out of there. Okay, so while you're over your channel, hold shift and scroll your mouse wheel. You can move them around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see that? And your mouse moves automatically with it.
Yeah.
So if things wind up in weird spots, you can just move them around. Typically things aren't placed in the wrong spot though. I mean, when you make something like, let's say I add like a synth or something, let's add like a citrus instance, and I'll close this, and I want to, add this to my channel rack. I'll make sure that my channel's named and colored everything that I want, and then I'll just hit Control L. It'll put it in the next slot, and I'm off and running in like a heartbeat, no problem. So, anyways, let's go ahead and mix the beat now, because
so
yeah. They've recently added an ability to like link these to the tracks like conventional DAWs, but we're so new, we're not going to worry about that. Reset tracks default. That's so awesome. Okay, so I've got my kicks, hats, and these. I like to color my stuff, but we won't worry about it for now. So if I hit play, I'm going to go over to my sequencer, make sure my playhead's at the beginning, and in song mode. I believe it switches automatically if you click on the sequencer. So if we're in pattern mode, yeah, if you move your playhead in the sequencer, it'll swap from pattern to song for you. That's kind of nice. I use the keyboard shortcut L, but it doesn't work if your typing keyboard for notes is on. See, you get a note instead. Yeah. So you have to turn this off. You can hit Control T to turn it off, or just click it to turn it off. It's kind of a lot of info. You added a marker. That's like too much information to process. So for now, we're just going to go over here. We've moved our playhead, so now if I hit spacebar, I can hear the beginning of my track. You've got some now sounds are missing, right?
Yeah.
So that means something's muted somewhere.
Oh, okay, wait.
Where would it be muted?
Let's see if I remember how to do it. Oh, right here.
Mm-hmm. And you see how there's like green dots all over the place? There's green dots on the side of this thing. There's green dots here. These green dots, mute.
Okay, something is still muted.
No, it's all on now. You only have 2 notes at the beginning, that's why.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's a problem.
Okay, cool. So this is the last bit, because this is just a lot of information to process all at one go. So we've got our 3 channels.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are volumes, so you could change the volume of each one. And we're gonna use that probably the most right now. Let's go to effects so we can see effects. So a common effect used in audio processing is called an equalizer. So let's go to our slot. Doesn't matter what slot, because we're only gonna have one thing. Things that are at the top of your slot, your sound will go through first, and that can matter a lot later. But we're gonna go to EQ, Fruity Parametric EQ 2. Your menu is a lot smaller. It should be under EQ, not that one. The bottom one on the EQ list. Fruity Parametric EQ 2.
Okay, oh.
It's over here.
Right here?
That's it, yeah. So go ahead and put that on there. So now you've added this channel effect. And what channel do you have selected?
I should have one.
No, you don't have channel 1 selected, because look at your mixer. That's bright green.
Okay.
So go ahead and click on your mixer. Now, when you click, you see how you move to control?
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be like really important, and you will have like move something without realizing it. Mm-hmm. And so switching between things, that's why I don't like clicking. One of the safe areas to click on your mixer is like on the channel names. That is a safe spot to click if you want to go to that window. That's why I use F9.
F9.
Or Shift Tab, because you know how Shift Tab changes our windows?
Yes.
You're going to hear these shortcuts 100,000 times, because they're just the way you move around the program. So, okay. We've got an EQ now, and your EQ's on your synth. I'm going to copy you. So I'm going to load an EQ on the synth. So there's the EQ. And I've got this extra EQ, so I'm going to close that. And it's not going to do anything. It does. Some people argue it does change your sound. The difference is negligible. So if I play it now, this channel has my synth, right? So this will be my synth sound. So you see your synth sound? Mm-hmm. So you see the frequencies. The brighter the frequency, the brighter the bar, the louder that frequency is. So if I want to change it, I can grab a node, and we'll just keep this simple. This turns the volume down at that frequency. This turns the volume up at that frequency. So if I play it. It's that easy. Now you're EQing. So you want to be hearing what you're working with, right? So select the area that has the notes you want.
Which is here, right?
Yeah.
And that's control or
yeah,
shift.
control drag. Just control.
Control drag. Yeah, I mean that should be,
That's good. Okay, whatever. So go ahead, make one more adjustment in the EQ.
Okay. Hold up.
Hit Control D to deselect. Spacebar. Go ahead, stop it, and then drag and control drag from this into the measure to the front.
Okay, so here.
Yeah. Cool. Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it really, really nasty. I don't even know what I'm doing. Hold up.
Cool. I think that's good.
All right.
Go ahead, stop it. So, I have a mixing series too. We'll talk about some of the decision making.
It's gonna be a long series, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about decision making because I understand the frustration of opening up. I think anyone who's good at mixing knows. Anyone who's bad at mixing knows. You want to have some notion of what you're doing when you open something up. So you don't know what to do. So you're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. So that's what I encourage you to do. Boosting the low end like that could be interesting. Generally, we'll talk about the whole idea because it gets pretty complicated. You want to achieve a balance where things each have their space. And I guess we should really quick cover that. So this is so that's the mixer at work. And what a mixer's job is it allows you to take everything and process it and make some cool sounds. Maybe you want to use distortion or something to make a cool sound. But it also allows you to take your song and to treat each item individually and fit them together in the best way possible. And that's what a mix is aiming to do. That way your sound sounds as great as it possibly can. And there's different philosophies about what sounds good and different ways of doing it. But that's what you aim to do generally when you grab a mixer and you say, I'm going to mix something. So what you did was more of it was like you wanted it to be louder, so you turned stuff up. And you like the low end stuff. But we'll talk about problems that can occur and things you should be aware of. Because people will say certain moves are wrong or certain moves are right. And that's just, it's all up to you. There are definitely some good guidelines, though.
Okay.
And you were walking over a couple. But
Yeah.
it's still like sometimes you'll just throw off one guideline. There's always an art, there's always that one exception type deal. But anyways, I think that's good. Do you have any, you didn't ask that many questions.
Yeah, so, for me, this is the first time I've gotten my hands on this DAW, or any DAW. So, yeah, it's just interesting. I guess I'm just trying to feel it out right now. One thing that I did notice was, the navigation between, the different segments of what we're doing is, the fluidity between them is, really key. So, just the keyboard shortcuts. There's F9, right? Mm-hmm. That gets you to... But what was the other one? It was Control Shift or?
Generally, scrolling is Control mouse wheel.
Okay, Control mouse wheel.
And so, but you got to be in a certain window. We didn't talk about keyboard focus that much.
Okay.
I felt like I did maybe too much talking in this one, but it's kind of just I got to give you stuff to work with.
Yeah.
And then, I think I'll pause for more questions. I think I should be doing some more pausing. So that'll happen in the next video. More pausing for questions.
Yeah. I think this video is just me trying to process all of the information.
Yeah, because when you're new, because surprising as this sounds, when you're new, this is nothing compared,
Yeah.
We're getting amped up. You're learning all the vocabulary, and vocabulary always just comes on. It's just stuff you gotta know, and after you know it, then you're able to do artistic things.
Right.
So this is just. If you feel like this is overwhelming at the beginning, it's just a lot of info. And eventually you'll have done it enough to where you just know it and you can move on. And there are keyboard shortcuts I used to know that I found better ways of doing things and I don't even remember the old shortcuts because I'm like, this is just a better way of doing what I want to do. So you'll find your own way as you go. I believe that's pretty good for here. If you have any burning questions or maybe something you want us to cover, go ahead, drop a comment, subscribe, and have a blessed day.